Hi guys, today I would like to talk about spirits and dreams. So I was thinking quite a lot about my initial experiences with King Paimon, for example, and also King Person or Person. Um, both of these spirits appeared to me in dreams, and before I got in touch with King Paimon, I used a method, or made use of a method, to build that contact. So what I did was I drew the sigil on a piece of paper and meditated on that sigil the days prior to having that initial dream experiences I would like to tell you about. So I just included the sigil in my meditation sessions. So this was and I think this is a good way, and this is a good way to build the contact, establish the relationship to the spirit. When you meditate on the sigil, just include it in the meditation sessions. Just put it, for example, in front of a candle, and then focus on the sigil. You don't even need to get into the theta gamma state, at least I think. So just look at the sigil and let it enter your mind, and then close your eyes, and then try to see the sigil as it is printed on a piece of paper. So when you do that, and what you could also do is, so you sit in front of the candle, let the image of the sigil enter your mind, and then you dive deeper and deeper into meditation while you still see the sigil before your inner eye. So that's what I did. I would say, I'm not entirely sure how long I did that, but I think at least a week. I would even say so several weeks. I'm not entirely sure. I think I wrote it down somewhere. I'm writing quite extensively about my experiences, primarily with King Paimon, but also in general about my experiences in the field of the occult. So I did that, and I had a dream where I really, first of all, the next morning I didn't remember that dream. I had no real recollection of that dream, and it came in the course of the day. More and more of these memories entered my mind. That was quite strange, and I thought, okay, what I remembered first was that dream where I was walking along a body of water with another person, and that individual was telling me something about water, and then I remembered seeing like the flashing of the sigil in the dream. So I saw, like, in the middle of being asleep at night. I don't know what time it was. Obviously, I don't remember that. Somewhere in the middle of the night, the sigil entered my mind. So it felt like the activation of the sigil somehow. Did I do that unconsciously because I was focusing on the sigil the days prior to having that dream? Or was it like the effect of my meditation, and the spirit contacted me while being asleep? So both scenarios are possible. and maybe it's a combination of the two. Either way, I was walking along the body, along a body of water. I remember that clearly, and I could see the waves going over hills, so smaller hills, and I don't know if it was like a bigger river or the sea or lake or anything like that. I mean, there were waves, so it must have been some more dynamic body of water. So I think it was the ocean, but I'm not entirely sure about that. And the person I was walking with was informing me about something about water, and unfortunately I can't remember everything. And I think I actually forgot most of it, I have to say. But it was the person, first of all, was a female-looking figure. Was quite a beautiful woman, actually, with black long hair. That's how I remember it. And she was telling me about the power of water. And the power of water. And I saw the waves going over hills, and then as we walked further, I remember the water, the waves, and the stream of water going over larger hills. So I literally saw the water going over mountains. And I clearly remember that. So first of all, these were just small hills, and later it was going over mountains. And this idea was really imprinted in my mind, that water has the power to surpass. Let's say that water has the power. I'm just I have my monitor, I have my computer running just to give me a bit of more. To have one light source more, so because otherwise it's a bit too dark just with the candles here in the camera. So I had this idea, or this idea was really imprinted deeply in my memory, that the water has the power to overcome, or the water has the power to surpass the height of mountains. And of course you don't need to understand that literally. You have to think what it means. It's a symbol of the power of water. At least that's how I see it. It's that that maybe we have to, or especially because my astrological sign is Pisces, so I think I have a special or particular connection to water. And the next thing I remember is walking behind that person, a woman, and she was sitting on a horse. I think she was sitting on a horse, going in that direction, so moving forward, but she was facing me, right? That was a bit strange. And I remember that before the horse there were more people. There were other beings or people going with her. That's what I remember. And I remember clearly I was staring at her, and she was giving me like how would you say that? A strange gaze back. She was. I must have been staring at her, and she was looking back at me in a kind of a like ironic way or funny way, like, why are you staring at me like that? I mean, it sounds really strange, or maybe some people would just think, okay, maybe it's just a dream. But I'm pretty much convinced of the fact that the dream experience is not less real than the physical, three-dimensional experience of our reality here. So I think it's just a different type of experience, a different layer of experience that we have in a dream. And I think I made connection to, I think it was King Paimon, and I think we can make connection to the spirits in our dreams. And I think I made this connection because, how can I express that? It was when you first establish the contact, you have a lot of respect for that spirit. Maybe you're a little bit afraid as well, and in order to overcome that let's say that barrier, I needed to be in the dream state in order to drop that barrier, in order to make that contact. At least that's how I see it. Similar things happened to me with Person as well, but not at all in that intense way. So to be honest, with Person I had just a little snippet of visual information of the spirit in my mind, and I remember that. But with King Paimon I had like a movie was running before my inner eye. In the next scene, after walking behind her or him, so that was quite strange, because in the next scene, the person, the individual, and I knew it was the same individual, had much shorter hair. I would say something like up to the chin or chin, something like that. I think that's at least how I remember it. And he or she was yelling at me. And I don't know why she was yelling at me. We were just standing in quite a small room, and I remember her or him standing before me, and then he or she disappeared for a short period of time, and then came back and had blood on her hands, and there was also a knife or blade of any kind. And then the next scene, but the feeling was not threatening in any way. In that sense, it was more like I felt more protected than harmed in any way. Yeah. So that was my initial experience, my dream, in apostrophes, dream experience of King Paimon. And since then, I have built the relationship to that spirit. So I hope this was helpful for some of you who want to develop a relationship to a spirit and don't know how to do it. You can just meditate on the sigil and let it enter your mind. I think the more you do it in your waking life, the higher the chances that that this is going to happen in the dream state as well. And the information, the visual images, things you hear, stuff like that will just be far more intense. Because in the dream state, you don't have that barrier. So you don't filter information so much. So it goes through directly. So if you build that contact, either if that contact comes from yourself or from the spirit, it's far more intense than trying to make that contact in a more forced or deliberate way in your waking life. So that was my little story. I hope you liked it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will definitely make more of these videos. I'm also writing a book about my experiences, which I will make available probably in a couple of months. And yes, I will also upload more guitar stuff for those of you interested in that as well. So it's a channel which focuses on music, consciousness, making spirit contact, the occult, with my limited knowledge of the occult. And yeah, I would be happy to connect with interested people, share ideas with you. So have a good one.